All right, guys, we're doing a life cycles of seed plants now. We're talking about their life cycle and their span and how, all about that stuff, how about they reproduce, their characteristics. So, without any further ado, let's get right to it. See if my pen works, and it does. Here we go. Life cycles of seed plants. Life cycles of flowering plants. Oak trees can live for hundreds of years. Some flowers live for only a few months. But all flowering plants go through a similar stage of life, right? Stages of life. That's what we're talking about. How long do they live? What are the stages of life, right? Follow the diagram as you read about the life cycle of an orange tree. An orange tree begins life as a seed, right? So we begin as a seed, right? Then the seed germinates and the seedling begins to grow. Over time, the seedling grows. So we go seedling, grows into a mature tree that can flower. Bees and other insects pollinate the orange blossoms. After fertilization, seeds and fruits form. When these seeds germinate, the cycle begins again. So the seeds that are inside this orange right here, hopefully are going to start a whole new orange tree, right? It says orange trees blossom in the spring. Their fruits are harvested in the fall. So the seeds that are in this orange tree, the idea is that they'll pop into the ground, germinate, and start a whole new orange tree that will then produce a ton more oranges, and the cycle goes on and on. So orange trees can live for many years. Each year they flower and make new seeds. But after many years, an orange tree will die. Other kinds of flowering plants, such as corn and bean plants, die after they make seeds one time, right? So orange trees can make seeds many, many times, right? The life cycle of an orange tree. Well, it starts out as a seed, right? Right? The seed formation. When a flower is fertilized, a fruit begins to grow. Each orange holds a number of seeds, right? Then we go over to stage 2. When conditions are good, a seed will start to grow, right? What do I mean conditions? We're talking water and sunlight, right? You betcha. Then step 3. Now we have a seedling that grows a young tree. That's a young orange tree. Then maturity. This will be step 4. When it is large enough, the tree will begin flowering. That means bees will carry pollen from one to another, and also means it may start producing what? Fruit. Fruit. Yes, indeedy. All right. Life cycles of conifers. The picture below shows different stages in the life cycle of a longleaf pine. How many different stages can you see in this picture? Let's take a look. Ooh, man, I see seedlings. Wow, I see mature trees. I see seedlings. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. All right. So, longleaf pines are conifers. Like flowering plants, conifers begin life as seeds. The seedlings of longleaf pines grow slowly. When the trees are mature, they reproduce by forming cones. Pine trees have two kinds of cones, right? Where was I? I just lost my place. Yep, two kinds of cones. Male cones and female cones. Male cones make pollen. Wind blows the pollen to the female cones. When the pollen reaches a female cone, fertilization takes place. Seeds begin to grow inside the scales of the cones. Then we would have what? Seed dispersal, right? The female cone protects the seeds as they grow. When the seeds are fully grown, the cone opens. Some seeds fall to the ground, others are carried away by wind. If a seed lands in a good place, it will germinate. And the wind is the way that the seeds are dispersed, right? Life cycle of a longleaf pine. So it starts out as a seed. Number 1. When pollen reaches the female cones, the ovules are fertilized. Seeds form inside the female cones. That's step one. The seeds are formed. Step two, germination. If a seed lands in a good place, it will start to grow. What happens between seed formation and germination? Seed what? Seed dispersal, right? Right? Step three, growth. The seedling starts, right? It starts to grow. And step four, maturity. When it is large enough, the trees will make cones. Male cones produce pollen that is spread by the wind. Comparing life cycles. Think about the life cycles of the orange tree and the longleaf pine. How are their life cycles alike? And how are they different? I see a lot of similarities. I think that one thing that would be different is the way their seeds are dispersed, right? I don't know. The seeds of a longleaf pine are protected by the female cones, right? How are the orange seeds protected? Both kinds of plants reproduce seeds. The seeds of conifers grow in cones. Conifer seeds are not protected by fruit. The seeds of the flowering plants form in flowers. Their seeds are protected by the fruit. So you see right there, what are they doing here? They're doing this. They're comparing. You could do a little compare and contrast as you read today. So right now, as you read, why don't you, you're going to reread this. And what I'll have you do as you reread, why don't you go ahead and set up a Venn diagram and flowering, I don't know why I put a W there, flowering and conifers, right? And then you'll do the things that are similar. Do 3 things that are similar and 3 things that are different, right? There you have it. Awesome. So conifers are pollinated by the wind. Some flowering plants are also pollinated by wind, but most flowering plants are pollinated by insects or other animals. All conifers are trees or shrubs that live for many years and reproduce many times. Some kinds of flowering plants also live for many years, but many kinds of flowering plants have much shorter life cycles. Some live for only a season after they make seeds, then they die. So there you go. That's a great thing to have on your what? Uh-huh. Comparing seed plants. Oh, look at this. You can take this chart here and use it to do your comparing and contrasting. Flowering plants. Reproductive structures. Well, flowering plants have flowers. Conifers have cones. Pollination. Flowering plants are most pollinated by animals, some by wind. Conifers are all by wind. Flowering plants, location of seeds and fruits, conifers and cones. You see that? There we go. All right, what do we want to know before we move on? What are the 4 main stages in the life cycle of a flowering plant? Look at the diagram, right? Go back and look at it. Compare pollination in conifers with pollination in flowering plants. Yes, use your Venn diagram. Apply. Which do you think would grow more quickly, a garden of flowering plants or a garden of conifers? Explain why. All right. So I'm going to have a Google form on that one, and you'll have your Venn diagram to help do your Google form. So when you're finished, obviously you're going to go back through and you're going to read, because I'm going to post the PDF. By the way, I don't think I posted yesterday's PDF, but I will today. All right. Tadero out.